All right, we are going to solve the above question using mesh analysis to find IS and IY. Originally, the question does not come with this, and this direction. So I'm the one that just include it. All right. So, and if you want to take your own mesh current, you can take it to be in the reverse way. Exactly. We always arrive at the same answer. So no panic about that. So the first thing is to assign our mesh current. So I've assigned mesh 1, mesh 2, mesh 3, mesh 4. And if you look at what I did in mesh 4, since mesh 4 is just a current that is going in that direction, then I allow my currents to go in that direction, so that when they are going in the same direction, I4 will be equals to what? I8. So directly from there, I don't, without doing much work, I know that I4 will be equals to 8 ampere. All right. So now I'm going to apply Kirchhoff voltage law to what? To mesh 1. So apply KVL to mesh 1. All right. So now to apply that, now we are going in a clockwise way, and our current 2 is also going in a clockwise way, and then we are moving from negative to positive for the voltage source. So we are going to consider 100. That is, we are going to have a voltage gain there, and when our current flowing in this branch is going the same direction with the mesh current, we are going to take the voltage drop across that resistor to the negative. So minus 8 into what? Into I1. All right. So for this resistor is between mesh 1 and mesh 2. So it's going to be minus 4 into what? Into I1 minus what? I2. This will be equals to what? 0. All right. So I can therefore say 100 minus 8I1, then minus 4I1, then plus 4I2 will be equals to 0. So 100, then minus 8I1, then okay, this is going to be minus 12I1, then plus 4I2 will be equals to 0. So let's move this and this to the other side. So we're going to have 100 to be equals to 12I1 minus 4I2, equation number 1. All right. So we are going to apply Kirchhoff voltage law to mesh 2. So apply KVL to mesh 2. All right. So if we apply KVL to this mesh 2, now the current is flowing downward while we are moving against it. So we are going to take a positive voltage drop here, so which is going to be 4, but it is between I1 and I3. So this is going to be I1 minus I2. All right. So again, we are having 2, and our current is going in the same direction with the direction of mesh current. So I'm going to take negative 2 into what? Negative 2 into I2. That is 2I2. All right. So for this, our 3 ohms is between mesh 2 and mesh 3. So it's going to be minus 3 into what? Into I2 minus what? Minus I3. This will be equals to what? 0. All right. So if we simplify this, we're going to have 4I1 minus 4I2 minus 2I2 minus 3I2 plus what? Plus 3I3 equals to what? 0. All right. So if we rearrange this properly, we're going to have 4I1 minus everything here is going to give us what? 6, 7, 8, 9 minus 9 minus 9I2 minus 9I2 plus 3I3 equals to what? 0. All right, so that is what we are going to have. All right, so if we decide to move everything that we have to the other side and bring back our 0 here, so 0 will be equals to minus 4I1 plus 9I2, then minus 3I3. All right, so let's take this one as equation number 2. All right. So now we are going to apply KVL to mesh 3, apply KVL to mesh 3. All right, so again the current is coming downward and we are moving against it. I'm going to consider a positive voltage here, that is voltage gain, that is 3 into, then is between I2 and I3, I2 minus I3. All right, so mind you, you have to be careful here. Don't forget, here we are having our current moving in this direction. That's going to be -10 into, now, but for the current, don't forget that it is between I3 and I4, but you have to be very careful, and you have to be wise that the direction of our current in I3 is going in this manner, in a clockwise manner, and the direction of our current in mesh 4 is going in an anti-clockwise manner. So we are going to add. Now if you are confused, now let's go back to this part here. If we come back to mesh 2 and we are considering this here, and then we are going to say I2 minus what? I3. Why are we doing that? We are doing that because the direction of current here and the direction of current here, they are going in the same direction. So it means if we have a resistor in which the direction of mesh current is going in opposite direction, we are going to add. I hope you understand this. All right, so now we are going to have I3 plus I4. I3 plus I4. All right. Then here we are going to have our -5 I3. This will be equals to 0. All right. So we are going to have 3I2 minus 3I3, then -10, but our I4 is already 8, right? So this is going to be -10 I3 plus, this is going to be 8. 8 times 10 is 80. So it's going to be -80 minus 5 I3, which will be equals to 0. All right. So so I'm going to have 3I2, 3I2, 3I2. Then here we are going to have this plus this plus this. That is 18, right? This is 13, this is 18. So I'm going to have -18, then -80 equals to what? 0. All right. All right. So if we decide to move everything to that other side, what are we going to have? So we are going to have 0 to be equals to what? To be equals to, sorry, I did not put I3 here. I3. All right. So it's going to be -3I2, then plus what? Plus 18. Okay, sorry. Let's just leave 80 to be here. So -80 will be equals to -3I2, then plus what? Plus 18I3. This will be equation number what? Equation number 3. All right. So I hope this is clear, right? All right. So now we can therefore rearrange our equation. Then we are going to use the the Cramer's rule to resolve this. All right. So let's go. Equation 1. What is equation 1? Equation 1 is 100 is equals to what? Is equals to 12I1 minus what? Minus 4I2. Equation number 1. All right. And the equation number 2. Equation number 2 is 0 is equals to what? 0 is equals to -4I1 plus 9I2 minus 3I3, then equation number 2. All right. So, and then the equation number 3, we have -80, which will be equals to -3I2 plus 18I3, then equation number 3. All right. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to find our data, that is our change. All right, our change, and our change is always the coefficient of I1, I2, I3. So the coefficient of I1 here is 12, I2 is -4, I3 is not here, so it's going to be taken as 0. So here we are going to have -4, then 9, and -3. Here I1 is not given, so we are going to have 0, then negative 3, then positive 18. So if you find the determinant, the determinant will be equals to so our determinant, if you find that, you are going to have this to be 1548. 1548. So that will be the determinant. All right. All right. So please, if you don't understand how to do this, I've been solving this in example 3 and example 4. So I have shown us how to do the step by step of Cramer's rule. Exactly. It's just to put plus, minus, plus. Then the next one is to take your mirror and then you resolve. Exactly. All right. So here, the next one is change in I1. So this will be equals to, all right, so for I1, we are going to replace this row with our answer, which is what? 100, 0, and what? 80. 100, 0, and 80. So we are going to have 100, 0, and minus 80, right? So then we keep these two that is here. So I'm going to have minus 4, 9, and what? And minus 3. So here I'm going to have 0, minus 3, and what? And 18. So that's it. So we find the determinant. The determinant will be equals to what? It's going to be equals to 14,340. 14,340. All right. So we are going to go for I2. All right. I hope this is well simplified enough. You can comment that in the comment section. And peradventure today is your first time of coming across our content, please do well to give this video a thumbs up as we continue to dish out more topic on circuit analysis 1 for you. All right. So now the next one is change in I2. Change in I2. So all right, so again, our answer here, I'm going to switch it to replace what is here while we keep this and this. All right, so 12 minus 4 and 0. So what will be in the middle? It's going to be what? It's going to be 100, 0, and minus 80. All right, then here we're going to have 0, minus 3, and 18. So if you find your determinant, the determinant here is going to be equals to what? It's going to be giving us 4,320. 4,320. All right. So the next one is change in I3. Change in I3. All right. So this remain constant. This and this will remain. We just change this, replace it with our answer. So we're going to have 12 minus 4, 0, minus 4, 9, minus 3, and 100, 0, and what? Minus 80. So if we look for your determinant here, you are going to have your determinant to be minus 6,180. Minus 6,100 and what? 80. All right. So that is what we have. So we can therefore find I1, I2, I3. Okay, let's find I1 here. So I1 will be equals to what? I1 will be equals to the determinant of change in I1 all over the determinant of change. So this will be equals to 14,340 divided by change. Change is 1548. So if you divide that, you are going to have your I1 to be 9.26. 9.26 ampere. All right. All right. So for our I2 will be equals to what? I2 will be equals to change the absolute value of, I say absolute value. That's wrong. Determinant of change in I2 all over what? All over the determinant of change. So this will be equals to what? This will be equals to 4,300 and what? 320 all over what? All over 1548. So if you press that in your calculator, you are definitely going to get 2.79 ampere. 2.79 ampere. Then the last but not the least, which is I3. So it's going to be the determinant of change in I3 all over what? The determinant of change. So which is going to be what? Minus 6,180 divided by 1,540. Sorry, 548. 548. All right. So this is going to be, so this will be equals to, if you divide this, you are going to have minus 3.97. Minus 3.97 ampere. All right. Minus 3.97 ampere. All right. So we are done with the mesh current. We have find the value of the mesh current. Now the question says we should find what? IS and what? IY. All right. Our IS will be equals to what? The mesh current. That is IS will be equals to what? I2. And I2 is nothing but what? 2.79 ampere. So I1, sorry, IY, our IY is between mesh 2 and what? And mesh 3. So that is going to be I2 minus I3. So what is I2? I2 is nothing but what? 2.79 minus I3. I3 is minus 3.97. So by the time you do that, you are definitely going to get 6.76 ampere. 6.76 ampere. All right. So here is the solution of the above circuit. I hope the question is well simplified. You can comment that in the comment section. And don't forget that we have a well structured handwritten material on circuit analysis, and that contains more advanced questions for you guys. Is going to help you to pass any professional examination, or be it university examination. And if you are having challenges with any topic, and uh, which you need some more light on it, either by material or private tutoring section, we are your best plug. You can reach out to us. And if you also want us to help you to solve your assignment, you don't have to struggle. Just send them to us. We are going to help you to simplify them, and we are not only giving you the solution, we are going to ensure that you understand what is the solution to the assignment. Stay tuned for more as we dive into super mesh. Yes, super mesh.